Hi guys, welcome. Today I'm going to be taking on the chess streamer, Naycir. Is that how you pronounce it? The Turkish streamer. She's worked her way up the beginner ranks while streaming all of her chess progress live. How do you stack up against a fun chess personality? Okay, so we are getting a challenge match with Naycir. We've got the black pieces, so let's try and describe how I battle a 1300. They're probably going to go like 10 or 15 moves of good solid theory, and then they probably might make some inaccuracies in the middle game. That's my sort of thinking at this level. So we can get rid of my doubled pawns. I'm happy to do that. And they don't recapture. So I'd love to target this pawn. Maybe this pin would be nice as well. But then maybe queen could take... Then I'd take the knight, wouldn't I? So this actually stops the queen taking the pawn, but also stops the knight taking the pawn because of the pin. So now queen stepped out of the pin, but maintained the defense of the knight. Now the knight could capture the pawn. So why don't we try hold on to this pawn? Be a little bit greedy here. Let's do it. Let's push this. Ah, but now we're going to lose this pawn. Okay. Yeah, when I said the word greedy, I was like, yeah, probably not a good idea, is it? Greed. But this little bad boy. So he takes a pawn, but just hangs the knight. Okay, and now these light squares look extremely weak as well. So maybe this. Just develop the rook with tempo. And they counterattack. But we can just take. If take and they give check, do we care? We just slide back and queen still defending the rook. Yeah, I didn't really see what this led to. I mean, isn't this just fine? I'm up a piece. I have got doubled pawns in the center. But so my bishop is hit. So let's slide it back. So it's defended by the pawn. They should not capture. If they capture, that would correct my pawn structure. And actually, I'm going to use this en passant as a chance to correct my pawn structure and potentially win a pawn as well. So bang, we are up a piece, guys. But our king is a little bit awkward, as we are seeing now. So it's a bit of a decision here. I like to say if they've got more than 12 points of material attacking you. So not the pawns, but like rook. So they've got 13 points of material, right, attacking me. 2 rooks and a bishop. If they've got more than 12, hide your king. If they've got less than 12, you can be a bit more ballsy with your king, get him out, and use him as an attacking piece. So I want to take this, but honestly, they recapture. And my pieces just have 0 development. So I'm actually just going to leave this tension here. Okay, so I could recapture. I could also hit the rook. I'm just noting that the rook cannot defend the pawn. So this pawn's still going to be available to me. What if I go like this now, defend this pawn? It would be neutral. If I take their pawn, they take mine. It would be neutral in terms of material. But the way I'm doing it, defending the pawn, they're defending their pawn. It's more tempo. It's giving me. It's still neutral, but it's more development for me. So if takes, then we can castle. If here we can't castle. So let's do that. That seems nice and simple. Oh, yeah, of course we cannot castle anyway because we moved the king already. So we got, I don't know. Yeah, we're going to defend this pawn. I'm very cautious of getting too passive with the rook here. So now we can bring our king into the game. They've got less than 12 points of attacking material. And we can bring the king again to defend the pawn, maybe. This rook is very nicely placed, attacking my 2 weaknesses. I'm going to move the king this side, and then if this check I could have blocked. If this... Then they could have thrown in this check to deflect my king away from the rook. And then they could have won this rook. Yeah, so this actually wasn't a proper defense. So I've got to be a bit careful here. I'm up 4 points, but I don't mind losing this double pawn. for a start. But we've got this or this. So if here... I didn't like the look of this. Because then we lose this pawn. This, maybe we defend the pawn. And everything's okay. Okay, I really don't want to let them double up the rooks. So how do we trade off one of these rooks? If we double up mine and then if they... Yeah, because you know we can just try and get a trade. I'm going to give them this pawn. Okay, and we get a trade, guys. So now we're happy. We win this pawn. We come in on the 7th or 2nd. Higgs on the 7th are absolutely destructive. And they're just going to give me a few pointless checks. Okay, we're just going to step up with the king. And now, let's step back with the king, just defend these 3 pawns, and then we're going to try and activate the knight a little bit. What if this, they hit my knight? Okay, white's being a little bit annoying right now. Do I sack? Well, I'll lose this pawn at the end, don't I? But if takes, I get this. You know what? This is probably the quickest and easiest way, guys. I'm still up enough material to convert this. And I just saw in this position, they've not got any more checks. I was getting a little bit bored of them checking me. So now we're only up 2 points of material. So if this, I have to go here. What if this, would that threaten mate? Not quite. Okay, so admittedly this line probably wasn't the best, guys. We're losing one of these pawns now. But let's just try and push our slight pawn advantage now. Okay. I think they were worried about the check. But now I'm just coming up the board. Bosh. So maybe... Okay. That doesn't do much. Yeah, we're alright. So if king here... I mean, we're just threatening mate, so they have to move their king. They have to run away. If here, this was still mate, because this pawn covers this square. Hence, the bot is giving up the rook there. Yeah, and there's no way out. So that is how you beat Naycir. She played pretty solid, but just, I think she just gave away one piece, really. And we capitalized on that. And pushed our pawns in the end game, guys. I wish you all the best of luck against Naycir. Like and subscribe. I'll see you next time. Cheers.